First of all, I was running on a beach in 2007, and being a most chauvinist pig, I didn't like it when a woman sort of ran up. I knew something was wrong then when she kicked my butt.
Well, looking back, little things happened even before we realised Ian was unwell. He'd have really bad dreams and crying out in the night and a lot of movement in his sleep.
It bothered me more and more. By 2008 we'd done all these tests, MRIs, heart tests, vascular tests, blood tests, everything was normal.
Well, it took quite a while to be diagnosed because he knew that something was wrong, but he wasn't sure what it was. So he did a bit of Dr. Google and thought he had all these other different diseases. And he used to come home and complain about that his legs didn't move properly. And one day I saw him swimming and I said, yeah, your legs don't move when you swim.
And it was David Williams who said, I mean, you definitely have Parkinsonism when I first saw him, but I don't think it's Parkinson's disease. I think it's something else. I thought at the time, what a relief. How wrong could you be?
Well, I first met Ian about 7 years ago. Well liked by the people around him, very enthusiastic about his work, and I remember about his determination to understand all of his symptoms when he first came, and he'd been pretty right in terms of interpreting his symptoms, and he wondered whether or not they were a bit like Parkinson's, and I certainly agreed with him. Worrying for me though was that his symptoms at that stage had progressed a little faster than what I would expect for a guy of his age with early Parkinson's disease, and he had some of those other additional symptoms that might make one think of multiple system atrophy. It's a worse diagnosis to make than Parkinson's disease. You don't want to just throw it out there flippantly that it might be the case, but from my experience with Parkinson's disease it wasn't quite right, and that became more obvious as I saw Ian over a couple of times.
I remember when I first saw Dave Williams, he was asking completely different questions. And he said, have you ever got aggressive, or do your arms and legs ever move in bed when you sleep? I just hit my wife, or hit the wall. I said, what have you been watching me? Part of my wife building a case against me. He
sat us down and explained, or tried to explain what MSA was, that it wasn't a very nice thing to have. And he did say, don't Google it because what's out there on the internet's not very nice. So that was, of course, the first thing we did when we got home, and it was quite confronting to see. We were in a bit of denial because we couldn't imagine that from where Ian was at that point in time, that where he would get to in supposedly a small amount or short amount of time. So yeah, it was sad, and it was hard to come to terms with, that it was such a brutal thing that he had for someone that was so fit and loved life, that he would get something like this.